This is Ian Lamont, founder of EasyGenie genealogy charts and forms. Today I'm going to show you how to use a free census documentation on Family Search to estimate when an ancestor died. If this video helps, please like it and follow me. Let's get started. So the ancestor in question, I don't know if you can read this. It's James Walsh, age 40. This is the last official record I have of him anywhere, and it's basically from the 1892 New York State Census. After this, I can't find the person. I've tried to request the death certificate for James Walsh from the local city clerk. I still can't find it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at other census returns from after 1892 to determine roughly when he died. So let's get started with that. And one thing that's worth mentioning, James Walsh is a common name, and oftentimes you'll find with ancestors who have common names, especially if their spouse also has a common name, it can be really tricky to find the right family to determine when that person may have passed away or what other family changes took place. But I'm going to try to walk you through it. This is Family Search. It's just completely free genealogy service. I love it. I use it all the time. It's free to register, so just go to familysearch.org and register. Once you get there, go to Search and then Records. And what we're going to be doing is kind of ignoring the search thing right here because too many results will be here. I'm going to try to use the more options and then see if we can't come up with something that can help out. Now, I'm not going to search for James Walsh directly. The reason being, as I said, the name is very common. So what I'm going to do is use his daughter's name, which is a little uncommon. And actually, it is Marguerite Walsh. And the idea here is if James's name is too common and his wife's name, Mary, is also too common, maybe one of their kids who has an unusual name might be able to unearth the right record. So we're going to have Marguerite Walsh. We're going to have a, residence in New York State, not New York City. Residence year from 1893 to, let's say, 1930. And just leave it there. And let's also see what happens if we add the father's name. So that's James Walsh. And we can also add, and let's just see what happens. Okay. So one thing that comes up, you'll see right away, there's a problem here with the sheer number of results that we have. 40,000 results. And the list just keeps on going down and down and down. There's many Margaret Walshes or Marguerite Walshes with James Walsh as the father. And it would take too long to search through this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to reduce the number of records I'm looking at. I'm going to press the collection button. And you'll see over here on the right side, there's all these different records that you can look through. I've already told you that I've looked through the birth, marriage, and death records. And I'm not going to go through that again. But I'm going to take a look at the census records. Show all 22. I'm going to scroll down. You see most of them are not useful to me, but some of them are. So New York State Census 1905, and then the U.S. Census 1900 and 1910. I want to take a look at those because, as I said before, this particular census record, this is from 1892. After that, I haven't found any official record of this guy. But maybe his daughter shows up in the 1905 New York State Census or that one of the U.S. censuses in 1900 or 1910. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we can reduce the numbers a little bit. Okay, 2,700 results. That's still too many. I'm going to try to reduce it even further by adding a mother's first name. So mother's name is Mary, and she will be listed as Walsh in the records, even though that's not her maiden name. And let's search again. See if we can winnow it down a little bit. Okay, 2,339 results. Still quite a bit. Many Mary Walshes and James Walshes. So what I'm going to do is let's get rid of the 1910 census. And let's concentrate on the 1900 and 1905 census records. Okay, so I know that they weren't in New York City, so I can just kind of scroll through those. They weren't in Albany. This is in Western New York. This is in Western New York. Margaret Walsh, all right, James Walsh, Mary Walsh, so that's the parents, and actually she had a brother named Eugene and a brother named John, so this could be it, but 1892, I don't believe that's correct. I believe she was born after 1892. So you can see it starts to get tricky because there's still quite a few. Let's see if I can reduce it even more by checking off this box right here. First names match exactly. See if I can find something. All right, that's helpful. So these two definitely not. This one also, I don't think I don't think this is the same person because they didn't live in Syracuse. That's not correct. So I'm going to uncheck that. And let's maybe take a look at another search result list that I had. This is just the 1905. Let's actually get rid of the 1900. So let's just look at 1905 and see what comes up. Okay, these can't be it. So I'm going to search again. All right, let's see if I can find something promising here. So you can see that Marguerite disappears, but actually they show other versions of the spelling. Margaret, Maggie, other Margaret with 2 T's. And going down, you can find quite a few. But what we're looking for is, what I'm really looking at is the location in Western New York. And I'm not seeing anything here. Let's scroll down to even further, see if I can find something. There's tons of results in, okay, Buffalo. All right, but she didn't have a brother named Albert. This looks interesting because this was actually one of the towns where the families lived. I could see Mary Welsh. That's the mother's name, but it's Welch, not Walsh. Some of these other names don't match, but some of them do. And this is actually a very promising record. So let's take a look at that. Okay. So I'm going to, so you can see the basic data for the family there, but you can see something doesn't look right. Like Helen with an A in it, that doesn't seem right. So what you have to do is actually look at the image. Regardless of what the index says, check the image because sometimes, check the image itself because sometimes the index is wrong. You'll want to zoom in. And let's see if we can find the family. And here they are. Welch, Mary, Willie J, Mary E. So Willie J and Mary E are actually siblings of the family. Let's just see if we can brighten this up a little bit. Okay. Now there's some other weird spelling here. So Maggie, that's a short version of Margaret or Marguerite. So I think that this could be it. And you can see that there is, the tricky thing is, it says Mary, and the head of the family, 46. The head of the family is at this time was usually the male, but there's no male living here. But the name is spelt differently. It's Welch, not Walsh. And there's a couple other weird things with these names here. Like there's no Logan in this particular family. So this might be a miss here. This might be the wrong family. And what you need to do, actually, is start looking at different censuses to see if you can find basically the family with the father or the other person no longer there. And it may take a process of elimination because you basically just have to look at a lot of families. And it can be very confusing, as I said before, with common names. Eventually, I was able to find the answer to my mystery, basically. What happened to the father? And I looked in the 1910 census on Family Search. It showed up in a nearby town. You can see the family, Walsh Mary A, so that is the mother, listed as the head. In the 1910 census actually had a question about whether they were married or widowed or divorced. And you can see there's a WD here, which means Mary was widowed by 1910. She's 52 right here. So what I think happened is James Walsh, he died at least before 1910 and then possibly before 1905 because I think this is the same family. I'm not quite sure because the spelling is weird. But 1910 for sure, he was dead because it says widowed. If it didn't say widowed, other options would be divorced, or maybe there wouldn't even say anything because, I don't know, this person left the family for some reason. But widowed, WD, this I consider this to be accurate. The other names in the family match this data here about the number of children that Mary had. This matches too. So I think I have my answer. I don't have the exact date, but I'm reasonably sure based on the census return that James Walsh died before 1910. I hope this video helped. Be sure to subscribe to get more genealogy tips, and there's a link in the description to download free genealogy PDFs. See you next time.